Hey guys, how's it going? Comparing here. So you guys know, from time to time, I post some of the most epic fails I encounter in Hearthstone, and I do so on one hand because, well, it's really hilarious to watch people fail, and you kind of feel better about the times that you failed because everybody makes some really stupid mistakes when it comes to Hearthstone. It's a very complicated game, and you can't always have your attention to what's going on, of course. But on the other hand, a very real practical side of showing the biggest fails in Hearthstone is that it's a pretty educational experience. Now, it usually affects mostly those who are a very elementary stage in the game, but still, nonetheless, it's that moment where someone watches a fail video and, is there thinking, it's like, why did he fail? Where's the mistake in that? And that's really where the learning takes place in Hearthstone. It's really the eureka moment, and it's kind of fun to live that. And it's one thing to learn from me telling you to do this, to do that, to do that. But this is kind of like the other side of learning how to do things and how definitely not to do things. Today's video is going to be one where a player really failed to use Fel Reaver. Fel Reaver is a really interesting card because it so clearly identifies whether a player actually knows how to play at a fairly advanced level, at least in Arena. And the most important thing in Arena, and this has to do with like all the levels of skill. The players who are really good at Arena are very good at this, and players who are intermediate are pretty good at times. They often slip up. It has to do with knowing whether you're winning or losing by how much and how much risk you should be taking on with your plays. So if you're winning by a lot, you should not make any risky plays whatsoever. And if you're losing by a lot, you should make probably some absurdly risky plays. And Fel Reaver is an awesome card because, well, it just makes some really awesome games. But on the other hand, is because it highlights this to really high extremes. Fel Reaver, when you're ahead, you literally don't play it. You can only play it if you're going to close out a game, and he just gives you that opportunity. But the opportunity to lose from Fel Reaver is just so amazingly high that you probably should just not be playing the card at all. Unless you think you can win, or you have a very specific or planned aggressive plan, or you think you're going to close out the game in a specific and known number of turns. Okay. Now, when you're behind, it's pretty fair to play Fel Reaver. If you're behind, you're usually gonna lose in 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 turns, and the fact that you discard most of your deck doesn't actually make much of a difference. But it's a card that if you play when you're behind, you have to act a certain way, because with Fel Reaver, if you're behind, you can't slowly creep into a winning position, because then you won't have a deck anymore. That's a little bit of a bummer. So it's the card where if you're behind, you have to play him, and you have to smork it up. You have to go all out face all the time, and really try to close out the game rather than marginally trying to start leading in the game. And, closing out the game, that situation is one that's also very interesting. Usually closing out the game plays out like Face Hunter. You have to make very careful decisions and maximizing your face damage and triggering that turn in the game from where you're, having to trade for your opponent's creatures to they have to trade into your creatures because otherwise they threaten losing the game. And that's kind of the turning point that a big card like Fel Reaver makes, and making, the small tiny decisions to attack a minion, to have something get frozen or not get frozen, to play into or play around a secret. All these things, all the spectrum of decisions basically materializes this type of strategy. Going for the face and just being as aggressive as possible and turning the game around. Some really high level stuff. But today, well, we're going to see the absolute opposite of that. This is how you don't play with Fel Reaver. This is how you don't play the game. This is like a very educational video, and quite a funny one still. So I want you guys to enjoy that. If you're pretty good, if you're one of those expert Arena players, just kick back, relax, and enjoy the fails. But otherwise, you really should know why it was such a big mistake at every stage in the game when my opponent made his plays. So check it out. Hope you learned something, and if you don't, well, enjoy. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I'm gonna keep this weird hand because my early game's a bit shaky. The tiger misplay was huge for me. Yeah, it was.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Not too happy with that totem. Counters vaporize and my 3 drop.
May my ancestors watch over me.
For the crusade!
Wow. Okay. I guess this guy has a lot of hexes. I mean, if he uses removal on that thing, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'll take 5 damage, but I'll probably get the 1 in with a tempo blast mage, which will just destroy him most likely.
Squire, attend me.
Ready, sir.
Okay. I just gotta hope there's no fire elemental here. I'm kind of feeling that there is. I probably should have played it by now if he had one. So lucky.
Answer the call of the
It was pretty lucky. Definitely.
Answer the call of the light.
Oh, that's not a very good card. And they might be up against his Divine Shield card. There's like 3 cards that give Divine Shield, 4 cards? I think 4 cards that give Divine Shield. You got the Protector, you got the Divine Shield, you got the Cog Hammer, and you got the Seal of Champions. What do I do for TSM?
I wonder.
Not too much. Been in close, oh. Okay. I've been pretty close with a lot of the guys who run TSM, and they just wanted to have me part as a streamer because I'm a pretty big streamer, and like yeah, I mean I got invited to all the other teams. It's the only one I'd want to be on, so I was happy when they invited me. Doesn't have to be complicated. Oh, that's a bad play. I mean, we all know that's a bad play, right? We figured it out. That is a bad play. Come on with this totem, dude.
Mount up!
Okay, next turn we can get rid of the remaining cards in his deck. What are the thoughts on the gaming chairs I got? Well, they're pretty good. I tried them at a lot of gaming events because like the gaming chair company is Economic, the one that I have now. They sponsor a lot of events, but usually at the events they're like beat up and shit because people don't really care for them, don't really take good care of them at all. They're just like beat up. The players go there and they fucking do anything they can to them, basically. So when it's yours, and I think when you take good care, it feels a little bit nicer. It feels a little bit nicer. What are you watching? I don't know what you're watching. It is some weird shit, though. Light's Justice, huh? Interesting.
My shield, put higher!
Yeah, this Fell Reaver did not work out for him so well.
Handle it!
Wow, that's pretty good. Oh, come on. Yes. And he goes down! Oh, vaporized! Holy shit, dude. That might be like the biggest Fell Reaver throw I've ever seen. Fuck it, might as well, right? He's got one card. Like, how do I lose to one card here? Oh my god. I mean, Fell Reaver's pretty good, but you have to play him a certain way, and that was not that way. That was very, very far from that way. So...